Hey folks, this is Kalani. A massive change just popped up in every World of Warcraft server that might just get you through any form of stay inside restriction you might have imposed upon yourself or had imposed upon you. Starting today, every single player will receive a huge 100% experience increase buff that works on all toons across all servers no matter what kind of account you have. So if you're just testing the waters with a starter account, or maybe you're paying for the subscription but didn't quite fancy forking over the cash to actually buy Battle for Azeroth yet, or maybe you've been playing BfA this entire time, all of you, all of us, will get this experience bonus. The dev team has also specified that this does in fact stack with heirloom bonuses, and I would assume it stacks with every other bonus experience you can get your hands on to make leveling the fastest it's ever been, or maybe ever will be. These are quite unique circumstances, and I'm super thankful that Blizzard can make our escape in Azeroth a little more interesting, fun, and varied. Souping up the rate at which you can level is sure to encourage almost anyone interested in World of Warcraft to pick up another character and see what they can have fun with. The buff is currently scheduled to run from March 20th to April 20th, so we have a full month of this crazy bonus. That's long enough to get almost any number of alts leveled up, assuming you have the spare time to actually play the game. But that means if you just want to get that last alt up to speed, you have a month to do so, no need to rush, but if you've been waiting for exactly this kind of opportunity to get your alt army ready for the Shadowlands expansion, there's plenty of time to take advantage of it. Now you might be thinking, I don't really care too much about an alt right now, I don't want to have to go through everything I've done on my main but on a different character. It was a long slog, why would I want to do it again? And the short answer is, because it's fun. I would encourage you to try something different. If you've been tanking for a while, why not try and put on the shoes of a healer and see how you like it? If you've only ever DPS'd before, the life of a tank or healer is significantly different. You might find something you really enjoy, or you might get a better appreciation for what the other roles have to deal with. That's a win-win in my book, and with leveling being so incredibly quick with this buff in place, there's no better time to stretch your legs. The main complaint that I've heard about alts and playing different characters in general right now is that it just takes too long. That's why they're going to overhaul the entire leveling system going into the Shadowlands, with the main goal of streamlining a very confusing timeline, what with all of the expansions to work through, and to just generally speed things up. WoW has always been a game where the real meat is at the end game. Sure, leveling can be fun sometimes, the quests and story can be great, but end game is where all the good stuff is. But if getting there takes too long, you might only want to do it once or twice at a push. That limits what characters you might be interested in, but as I said earlier, this is never going to get faster. If you want to play a mage because they're absolutely bonkers DPS right now, go roll a mage. If you want to tank, you're going to have a blast with instant queues and stomping dungeons, and if you want to heal, I'm sure you're never going to have a better opportunity to get a healer leveled up either. Another use for this bonus experience that you might not have immediately thought about is to help you get some heritage armor that you may have left behind or forgotten about because it takes so long to level. You need to get an allied race from their starting level 20 all the way up to level 110 without using the level boosts. You can use experience bonuses as much as you want, but you have to actually do the leveling yourself. That's going to be completable in record time with the 100% bonus we just got. Maybe you didn't have the motivation to get a Zandalari troll leveled up, or a furry Vulpera finished off, or the Mechanomes tinkered with. Whatever allied race you might have skipped over until now, there's a mount, an achievement, and a very special armor set waiting for you if you decide to level one up right now. The armor set can only be used on the race that earns the heritage armor, but that means in the future, if you ever want to race change some of your characters you really like to play, you could use the heritage armor because you leveled up that race separately. It might just be worth it for the achievements for you too, and if that's the case, this month is going to be the perfect time to get your alt farm fest done for the achievement hunters out there. If you don't have all of the allied races unlocked yet, this would be a great time to tick that off your list as well. I know all of the allied races require reputations at Exalted, which isn't a very exciting task to add to your list, but if you manage to tick off all the requirements for unlocking the allied race, you can go ahead and take advantage of the super fast leveling right now to get them up to 110 and earn your heritage armor. I'm actually considering leveling up quite a few characters, some of them again with this buff, some as allied races to make sure I pick up all the heritage armors that I don't have yet, and some just to avoid paying for a server transfer. I wouldn't mind using gold or paying for 1 or 2 transfers for the characters I really enjoy, but I love the idea of having all of my characters on one realm, and that just isn't the case right now. I have them split between Illidan, Kil'jaeden, and Area 52. I don't see myself leaving Area 52 anytime soon, so getting everything set up on that server ready for the Shadowlands expansion is an exciting prospect, and this huge experience bonus can help me achieve that without forking over $250 to move all of my other toons over. I still need to level some of them up anyway because they aren't at 120 or even at 110 in some cases, so it's not like the server transfer would be the only thing I needed. Leveling them up again from scratch really isn't going to take too much longer. I might even finally get around to leveling up that Alliance character that I've been meaning to work on for the past 2 expansions. Maybe not though, that might be a bit too much to commit to, for the Horde and all that jazz. But what I'm getting at is, if you want a new character from scratch, if you have some leftover alts at 100 or 110 that need leveling up, if you have any heritage armor still to collect, or maybe you literally just want to see how fast you can level right now, we won't see a buff like this again for a very long time. Now is the time to level. Alright, so hopefully you've accepted that leveling is awesome and the cool thing to do right now, but how can we speed this up even further? The first thing is to collect all of that lovely extra bonus experience. A quick list: grab your heirlooms, they still come from the same vendors so they should be easy to acquire, and you probably already have all of them anyway. If you need a refresher, some of them come from the heirloom vendor in the Undercity or Orgrimmar, or from Ironforge if you play Alliance. Some of them come from the guild vendor, and then some oddball pieces like the rings from garrison stuff in Warlords of Draenor. You can also get an extra 10% bonus experience from the Draft of 10 Lands. You can buy these from your Service Medal Quartermaster in Battle for Azeroth. This will be only available to anyone who has a main in BfA and has service medals to spend. You can get some other bits and pieces like the 5% gem from the auction house, some more experience potions for level 90 to 100 from the Warlords of Draenor garrison, and maybe 1 or 2 other spots, but heirlooms in the Drafted 10 Lands are the easiest to acquire that work for all levels. As for the actual leveling, the 100% increase from this special buff makes any form of leveling incredibly quick. You can quest, you can pet battle, you can dungeon, you can PvP in battlegrounds. Anything will level you up very quickly right now. I think for the most part, dungeons will still be the fastest overall, and while I'm leveling, I'll be sure to have at least a tank or healer grouped up with me to ensure I can skip all of the pesky dungeon queues and live this leveling life to the best of my ability. But if you're playing as a DPS and you don't have a tank or healer friend to queue with, I would suggest you still sign up for the dungeons. They're going to pop eventually, they're still going to be worth it no matter what, and then while you're waiting in your queue, go do something else. Either IRL, fix some food, drink, whatever, or if you just want to grind experience, you could do quests, you could gather herb and mining nodes, pet battles, mob grinding, anything you want. As long as you're earning experience while you're in the queue, you'll be leveling at the speed of light. Right now we also have a time walking event going on which can be amazing experience. It's currently the Wrath of the Lich King time walking event, which will allow anyone level 81 or higher to join the time walking dungeon queue instead of the regular queue. Time walking dungeons are quite a bit harder than normal dungeons, but they reward a crazy amount of experience, especially when you get into the higher levels. If you're looking for the fastest way to level from 110 to 120, time walking cannot be beat. Not by quests, not by normal dungeons, it's just so insane. Made even more amazing by this extra bonus. From a single time walking dungeon, my hunter was getting at least 1 full level, sometimes a level and a half if the dungeon had a lot of trash. Now dungeons, time walking dungeons, can take you anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes depending on the dungeon you get, and obviously the group you're running with. A level every 10 minutes is pretty bonkers. Now obviously that's for the really good dungeons, that's not going to happen all of the time, but I went from level 115 to level 120 in about an hour and a half on my hunter. You could probably do 110 to 120 in a few hours if you didn't have to wait for any queues at all fairly easily. Hint hint wink wink to all the tanks out there. If you missed the time walking event because you're too busy for the rest of this week, don't worry. There's also another time walking event before this massive buff expires on April 20th. The week starting April 7th will have the Cataclysm time walking event, so even more time to take advantage of these two leveling boosts together. And as an extra cherry on the top, that week will also have the Dark Moon Fair for an extra 10% bonus experience, basically for free. That's going to be a great week for leveling as well. But honestly, this entire month will be magic in general. Now, if the huge experience bonus wasn't enough reason to want to play some alts, you should also know that the dev team just lifted pretty much every other restriction on the account-wide essences system. Previously, where you had to actually own an essence for it to appear for your alts at the vendor, now if you have any essence from a source, all other essences, even for other roles that you might not actually own on any character yet, should be available for any of your alts. So if you've got the DPS Eternal Palace essence, the tank and healer ones should now be purchasable on your alts, even if you didn't actually make them. The same goes for any rep essences, any dungeon essences, PvP essences, etc, etc. If you have at least one essence earned on any character from any source, all essences for all roles for that same source will now be accessible to all of your other characters, including your main character too. So if you're a priest who only got the DPS essence from Eternal Palace, you can actually now buy the healing one from Mother as well. So you wouldn't have to go back to the Eternal Palace, you could use the same account-wide skip to get an essence you've never seen before. That's pretty cool. No more limitations just means more fun, right? Go out there and farm up some echoes with your brand new alts. It's super easy essences. But that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. A massive buff to leveling for the next month, and a few reasons why playing an alt right now might be the best thing to help get you through some of these hard times. I hope you're all staying safe, and if absolutely nothing else, at least WoW can provide you with some form of entertainment, and it's one of the cheapest forms of entertainment around, which is definitely useful right now. As an extra bonus, the dev team seems to be keeping an eye on the situation to make changes like this experience bonus, so kudos to them as well. How many alts are you going to level up in the next month? Do you think leveling will ever be this fast again? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.